Hello everyone, it's Sal, Stretford Post. How you doing? It's Friday again. Sunday, Monday, what? It's Friday, guys. Welcome to Stretford Post. Before I start, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash a like on the video, put the notifications on, all that sweet stuff. Help the algorithms, guys. Helps the video progress and things like that. Really does. Thank you so much, guys. You're absolute legends. Thank you for joining me this morning. Of course, look, I don't know what I could do. I don't know what to do, guys, because every time I mention a player, a few weeks later, someone else is mentioning the same player. What do? I don't beg for their acceptance and that. It's them. It's on their conscience at the end of the day. But we're talking about Angelo Stiller. Not Ben Stiller, absolutely not. We're talking about Angelo Stiller. Hopefully, we're not dodging. It's not a dodgeball situation. All right, Angelo Stiller is a very good player, and Manchester United are interested in Angelo Stiller. Initial talks about the player have just begun in regards to the initial inquiries about the player. Now, Angelo Stiller has a 36 million release clause. However, there is a stipulation in that release clause that VfB Stuttgart can buy the release clause for 2 million euros, which basically means that there's no release clause, but 36.5 is relatively fair, in my opinion. Some are calling him the new Tony Cruz. I mean, if he not, hopefully he's not Tom Cruise. Hopefully it's Tony Cruz, guys. Look, at the end of the day, look, speaking of Tom Cruise, speed. A lot of people have been speaking about speed. He's not quick enough. He's not gonna pace to fit the Premier League. Look, guys, I rate this player highly. I mentioned him. Listen, guys, 6 months ago, I mentioned Angelo Stiller, and people are like, who are you talking about, Sal? And yeah, here we go, guys. Here we are. Angelo Stiller, Manchester United is a big possibility, guys. Initial inquiries have begun. Although initial inquiries have begun with a lot of players at the moment in regards to the midfield situation. It's gone a little bit quiet in regards to Lucien Ugume. That's not to say that something is happening at the moment, but it has gone a little bit quiet. Now, the main target, of course, was Carlos Baleba. Carlos Baleba is the most important target for Man United, to be honest with you, but we didn't get that over the line, of course. But in regards to that situation, Manchester United have to be very calculated in regards to how they approach it next, what their next move on the chessboard will be, what are they going to offer. They have to make sure that that offer is sufficient, not 50 million plus 5 million incentives, because that is like burning the bridge of Brighton. When you do things like that, you lose your credibility, and obviously teams don't want to deal with you anymore because you're not serious, mate. So what I would say is that Baleba is not off the table. It's not, but it does look highly unlikely this summer. I'd be very, very surprised if Man United sign Baleba. It can quite possibly happen next summer, but I honestly feel, guys, I don't know about you, we lost out on this player. Another one that we lost out on. I really think we lost out on this player. However, you know what? That's not to say there are not players out there, who could give equally as much impact into the team. For example, Angelo Stiller. Just because it's not a fashionable signing, people are going to be jumping on the Baleba. It's not Baleba. We can't get. No one knew who Baleba was a year ago. So what I would say is that we have to take a chance. And what I've been speaking about over this last few weeks and months, indeed, is that we have to cut out the middleman. So how do you know that Angelo Stiller won't become a star at Man United? Yes, it can become Donny van der Beek. Maybe it could become a Donny van der Beek situation. It could become a Schneiderlin situation. But look, you have to take chances. He's a German international, very good player, of diamond boy of German football, of course, guys. So I feel like, you know what? Make the deal. It's better than nothing, guys. What I would say is better than nothing, but I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way. I mean that Angelo Stiller is a good player, and we should be proud that we could bring a player like of this ilk to the football club at the end of the day. Now, that's not to say that we rest on our laurels and we just totally neglect the goalkeeper situation. The goalkeeper situation is very important. I don't feel that Man United can go forward with buying there. I don't think he's good enough. I don't, even though we play him and he can play a few games and stuff and try and edge his way into the team. I don't think Onana and Binder are good enough. Plainly, the fact that I saw against the goal, I've been analysing the goal against Arsenal, okay? And I saw characteristics that are from amateur level. I saw the body language. I saw the positioning of himself. He was very passive, I would say. And I didn't see a domineering goalkeeper. I saw things that I would only see in the lower league, Sunday league. It's that bad. And when you get to a certain age, 26, 27, you should really know the basics if you've been playing top level football and you managed to get all the way as a goalkeeper. Imagine how many goalkeepers there are in the world, guys. Imagine how many goalkeepers there are in the world. You managed to get all the way to Manchester United. Out of the thousands of goalkeepers that I know that I've seen in my life in League One, League Two, National League, Championship, National League North, National League South, Ryman League, whatever you want to say, guys. You know, there's goalkeepers out there, but he managed to make it to Manchester United. He made it to Manchester United for a reason. Obviously, there's a reason he made it to Manchester United, but you know what? He's got to show it. He's got to show it. When you play, this is when the going gets tough, isn't it, at the end of the day? But Angelo Stiller, again, as we've mentioned on the show, 2 days ago, we mentioned him on the show. A few months ago, we mentioned him on the show a lot of times, guys, in regards to Angelo Stiller. Big player Man United are going after, of course. We're going to say a massive player for Man United going after. No bias intended, of course. Now, in regards to Alejandro, whatever you want to say, Garnacho. Garnacho is subject of a potential bid from Tottenham Hotspur, guys. Tottenham Hotspur have entered the race for Alejandro Garnacho. What does that mean? What does it all mean? Tottenham Hotspur missed out on Eze and now are looking at Garnacho as a potential suitor for the North London club. Now, look, this is good for Man United. Let me tell you, this is good for Man United because what does that mean? What does it all mean? It basically means that we can have a competition between Tottenham and Chelsea and they could be both vying for signature, which means elevation in the price tag, of course, guys. So very interesting developments going on there. Watch out for Tottenham. Tottenham could make a move for Alejandro Garnacho. I believe that they need Garnacho more than Chelsea. Missing out on Eze. An embarrassing, to be honest, situation for Tottenham. Missing out on Eze to Arsenal, their arch rivals, which, you know what? Eze's just signed off his trophy cabinet. No more trophies for me. Nah, no more trophies. Anyway, he would have went to Tottenham, probably won nothing anyway as well. But yeah, look, Alejandro Garnacho, Tottenham Hotspur is a real thing. And we're going to have to wait that and play that by ear, guys, of course. In regards to our favourite player in the world, Jadon Sancho. Jadon Sancho is subject of a bid from Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich are interested in acquiring the attacking left midfielder, right midfielder. He plays on the left. He plays on the right. That boy, Jadon Sancho, is bloody shy. I want to say that. Guys, what I would say is that, look, Jadon Sancho, the attacking player, shall I say, is subject of interest from Bayern Munich. Now, look, guys, Bayern Munich, I don't know what's going on with Bayern Munich these days, guys. I really don't know what's happening with them. They're really going on some trip, but I don't mind if they get him on loan. It is a loan deal, of course. They're not going to want to buy a Jadon Sancho. I don't think anyone wants to buy a Jadon Sancho, and I don't think Jadon Sancho wants to be sold to anybody either. I think he wants to wait until his contract is up so he can get that big payday at the end of his contract, of course, and go on loan this season to keep the valuation inflated in regards to his... Because if he sits on the bench, you know what? His valuation is going to go down. No one's going to want him. So going on loan is perfect for Jadon Sancho. He kills two birds with one stone. He maintains his valuation whilst he can run down his contract as well at the same time. You know, mercenary, if there ever was one. If you look in this encyclopedia, look under the picture, mercenary, you see Jadon Sancho, absolutely. Big up everyone who's joined me on the stream, guys. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all good. Good to see everyone in the stream. I hope you're all blessed, guys. Big up Sanjay. How you doing, my friend? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Let's see what happens in the next 8-9 days. Hopefully at least one we're in. At least one, but still it's not good enough. I really do feel that Man United need a goalkeeper. I think we're desperately in need of a goalkeeper. If I see a mistake from the goalkeeper against Fulham, I'm going to be absolutely throwing my laptop out the window, guys, because I'm you know what? I've been saying it for weeks and weeks. Goalkeeper, you know? Big up Jamie. How you doing, my friend? He's a quality player. Mania Madrid was looking as still as a replacement. Absolutely. Give credit where credit's due, guys. Again, another one which was in a Stretford Post exclusive. Not Indy Kayla, who paid Ornstein to give him a shout out, by the way. It is basically money talks, by the way. You can do anything in this media. You could pay journalists to actually speak your name and say, I heard it from him. Yeah. Believe that or not, guys. It's true. Now, guys, look, you know, what I would say is that, look, Man United need a midfielder. Obviously Angelo Stiller, not Ben Stiller, absolutely not. Dodged another ball there. What I would say is that Angelo Stiller is high on Manchester United's radar. If we could bring in Angelo Stiller, that'd be great. But I don't want us to neglect the goalkeeper position. I think the goalkeeper position is incredibly important. And if we neglect it, I think that this is terrible, because the goalkeeper position is probably the most important position on the pitch. I'm not even lying. Because obviously, look at the game on Sunday. Look at the game on Sunday. Look what happened, guys. We went from drawing or winning that game to losing that game because of one error. And that is what a goalkeeper can do. You can negotiate the midfield. You can negotiate the strikers and the defense. You can't negotiate your goalkeeper. Ask Alex Ferguson when Schmeichel left. What happened if you're about negotiating the goalkeeper? Big up, Kevin Donovan. How you doing? I take Andres Santos. Yes, a little bit of news about Andres Santos. Manchester United were looking to Chelsea, however, were looking to do a deal with Garnacho, but Manchester United have earmarked Andres Santos as a potentially swap deal for Garnacho with Chelsea. But Chelsea, as spoiled and as greedy as they are reluctant to sell the Brazilian international. Now, look, Andres Santos is a very good player, perfect for a Ruben Amorim system, but Chelsea do not want to do business with the 21-year-old at the moment. Now, look, if they want Garnacho, if they seriously want Garnacho, they're going to have to play ball here. They're going to have to play ball here. If they don't want to pay 50 million for Garnacho, they're going to have to play ball here. This is what they're going to have to do. This is how it works, how the cookie crumbles, however you want to say it. If Chelsea want to do a business with Manchester United about Alejandro Garnacho, they're going to have to do ball here. They're going to have to play ball. They're going to have to, if they can't pay 50 million, then Andres Santos will be a great option for Manchester United. Thank you very much. That's it. Business done. Shake hands on it. But they don't seem to be wanting to play ball here. Now, look, Andres Santos is a good player. I wouldn't mind him. I wouldn't. Young as well. Killing two birds with one stone again, bringing in a midfielder whilst working on giving him Garnacho, freeing up some finances for the goalkeeper. It would be great, wouldn't it? But obviously Chelsea are very stern in their stance in regards to Andres Santos and do not want to sell him. But I hope that can change. Anything can happen in the next few days. Tottenham interested in Garnacho is a very interesting one, considering that they missed out on Eze. It does look like they're going to get a replacement for Eze, and that could be Alejandro Garnacho. I don't want anyone from Chelsea. There you go, mate. There you go. You wouldn't want Cole Palmer, mate. I would. Big up, Amir. Big up. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining me. Good to see you again. Done and dusted, the legend. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Big up, Sal. Has there been a time when United had two of the worst goalkeepers in the league? No. We've had times where we've had poor goalkeepers. I remember we had Kuszak. Was it Kuszak and Carroll or something like that? But I remember we had a couple of poor goalkeepers, but Ben Foster was one of them, but I think we had Van der Sar as a backup. We had Van der Sar as the main goalkeeper, Ben Jacobs. Not Ben Jacobs, definitely not Ben Jacobs. Oh, goodness me. It was Ben Foster. It was the backup goalkeeper back in them days. But yeah, I don't think there is a time when we've had two goalkeepers very, very similar in the way they do things. Very similar. I don't think we've been this poor in the goalkeeper position for a while. Now, you only need really, and truly, one good goalkeeper. You need one good goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper will come in and play his part in the League Cup and stuff, whether you're playing York City or something like that. We need a good goalkeeper. And Senny Lamens looks a likely option in regards to age, in regards to price, etc. like that. He looks like the likely option for Manchester United going forward. As mentioned on Stretford Post, first Senny Lamens, of course. Guys, one day, don't worry. You know what I would say is that I would get Senny Lamens in. And the great thing about Senny Lamens is that he's young and he can be groomed into being the new number one for Manchester United, slowly edging out Onana out of the team. Bayindir, at the moment, there was interest in Trabzonspor, there was interest in Besiktas, there was interest in Bayindir, but that's gone a little bit quiet at the moment. Bayindir starting for Manchester United. And of course, Bayindir is the new number one, by the way. He's got number one written on his jersey. He is the new number one. Bayindir, look, I believe that Onana will play on Sunday. I think if Onana doesn't play on Sunday, I think that tells you everything you need to do. You need to know about what's happening with the goalkeeper position. Because I don't think for 1 minute that we are going to keep Bayindir as our number one. I don't. I think if Onana doesn't play against Fulham on Sunday, I honestly think Man United are going to acquire a new goalkeeper. Big up Dun and Dusty. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're all doing well. Big up Kevin. There is links with Zion and Suzuki. Another thing, Kevin, Zion Suzuki is a very good goalkeeper playing for Parma in Serie A, of course. Mentioned on the show a couple of times. My biggest fear with Suzuki is that he does palm the ball out a lot to his opposition team. If you watch his highlights, he does. Another one that's a little bit lightweight, too lightweight for the Premier League, in my opinion. Man United need a tall, domineering goalkeeper, likened to Van der Sar, likened to Schmeichel, that sort of goalkeeper, Courtois, that sort of goalkeeper. That's the goalkeeper Man United needs. Traditionally, that is what Man United succeeded with, that type of goalkeeper. The likes of Suzuki, the likes of Onana, remind me a little bit of the Mexican goalkeeper. I can't remember his name. Campos, was it? It reminds me a little bit like that. Like, very good, very skillful, it can do all the business. But when it comes to proper goalkeeping, I'm not saying that a Suzuki is a bad goalkeeper, but he's definitely not a strong goalkeeper, domineering goalkeeper that we need, and I do think that if he comes to the Premier League, it's going to be extremely difficult. Steve, good morning. What's happening with Højlund? You rather keep him or release him? Now, lots of stories coming in with Højlund. And guys, I want to talk about this again. I was the first one to mention Napoli again, guys, a few days ago. Now, lo and behold, Indicator, exclusive. I said it a few days ago. These guys watch the bloody show. They need to stop paying Ornstein for shout-outs. What I would say, right, is basically, look, again, loan with an obligation to buy. Napoli could possibly pay for Højlund up front, buy him fully, but they're looking more in regards to a loan with an obligation to buy, and that is what Rasmus Højlund is looking for as well. Rasmus Højlund is looking for a little bit of stability, given it is the World Cup at the end of the season. So a loan with an obligation to buy will be good. AC Milan has gone a little bit quiet. Of course, there were huge links with AC Milan. AC Milan have gone off the boil a little bit in regards to the way they play. They're a little bit like Man United, so to speak, AC Milan, because one of the most successful teams in the world. Guys, I think they're second on the Champions League winning list, 7 Champions League. What I would say is that they've gone really under the radar in recent years, and whatever has happened to them, it hasn't been great. And I don't think that Højlund wants to go to AC Milan purely because of that fact that he's going into a team that are very similar to Manchester United. He wants to go into a team that are scoring goals, confident, etc. Now, that is nothing to do with us, of course, but, if he goes to Napoli, I think it'd be a good move for him. Really would be. Lukaku is out for 3 months, and Napoli are looking for a striker. Can we make it happen in time? I'm 50-50, guys. I'm 50-50 if we can even do these deals in time. Look, guys, we got 31st of August is the last day. Is the last day. We have to start moving quickly if we're going to get these deals over the line, guys. We're talking about Sancho, Garnacho, Anthony, Rasmus, and then we're talking about obviously the midfield and the goalkeeper. 7 positions, guys. 4 players, 2 positions that Man United have to work on before the close of the window, which is going to be. It's going to be difficult, guys. I don't think we're going to get a lot done, to be honest with you. I think we might get 1 deal, 1 out, 1 in. That will be my prediction. It's a prediction. It's not the facts, guys. But I think we'll get 1 in. I think we'll get 1 out. And I honestly think that we'll probably get Senny Lamens, and that's about it. But although there is loads of good talk about Angelo Stiller, and that is rumbling at the moment, of course, guys, and that would be decent. Let's wait and see. Man United do what they always do, panic buy of a midfielder at the end of the window, and that will be different of what we want. Look, what I would say, Tenzing, big up Tenzing, by the way. Angelo Still is a very good player. And guys, you can click me on this. He's a very good player. It's a new Tony Cruz, they're calling him. And that is very high praise indeed for a player like that, So look, it wouldn't be so much a panic buy. It would be a good buy for him. We didn't get our first choice, and that was Baleba. Of course it was. But no, Angelo Stiller is no mean feat. He's not a rubbish player. I mean, panic buy for me is Fellaini and Schneiderlin and players like that. Those were panic buys for me. I think Angelo Stiller, German international, is a good player that Man United can have in their middle. Of course, every single transfer that we get linked to is always going to be a risk. No matter what you say, it's going to be a risk. We could bring a Baleba, it might fail. You never know, guys. Of course. So we need to look at things and give him a chance. I'd rather Stiller than nobody at the end of the day. And I do believe it's a good goal. I have watched the player. I think the Bundesliga is incredibly underrated. I do. I think it's amazingly underrated in regards to the amount of players that they bring through is incredible. And when you compare it to Spain and Italy and other countries, the amount of players that they bring through is very good, considering the finances in that league are not like a Premier League, for example. Absolutely. Irfan, what is your best 11 for Man United? Me, Martinez, De Ligt, Euro, Martinez, De Ligt, Euro, Dorgu, Ahmad, Mainu, Ugarte, Cunha, Sesko, and Buma, goalkeeper, new one. Irfan, you know what? You're nearly like me. You're nearly 100% on the money, my friend. You're nearly 100% on the money. I would say that, yeah. I fit Martinez, though. I fit Martinez. Although, Euro, yeah, that is perfect, mate. Perfect lineup, Irfan. I give you that. My applause, mate. That is probably what I would do. The Mainu Ugarte situation, of course, is for me the best midfield for Man United because they complement each other and there's more balance in there rather than playing Ugarte and Bruno. And people are ignoring the fact that Ugarte does affect Bruno does affect Ugarte. And when Bruno goes drifting around the pitch and goes missing and is ill-disciplined in his position, it affects Ugarte as well. People don't understand that. It affects Mainu, it affects Casemiro. There's no coincidence here, guys. There's no coincidence, right? So what I would say in regards to that, let me just turn this on. There we go. What I would say in regards to that is that, look, yeah, I agree with Ugarte and Mainu. Rumor is having that since January, Manchester United, and I mentioned it on the show. Do you remember we were talking about Mainu being transfer listed and stuff like that? Man United are reluctantly willing to let Kobbie Mainu leave. Now, whatever you think about that is what you think about, but that's bad, you know, because I believe that Mainu is a fantastic player being hampered again by a 31-year-old Bruno. And that, look, guys, that is no diss. That is no target. That's no hit at Bruno. I'm saying it as it is, guys. He is being hampered, stifled by Bruno. This is what's happening. And I don't want good players in our team being stifled. Kobbie Mainu does not become a bad player in 1 year. You know, and this is what I'm talking about. Very good player. And the problem is that we're not playing our strongest midfield. We're playing Bruno because he's no Portuguese and he's Portuguese and he gets on with Ruben Amorim. Bruno should play number 10 and nothing else. It's as simple as that, guys. Unless you change the formation to 4-2-3-1, something like that, it's not going to happen, is it? He's going to end up playing him, in middle of number 8, which I think affects the football team as a whole, and obviously the shape and the tactics, in my opinion. Ellen, good morning. I really like you coming on my stream. I like it a lot. I like you a lot. Thank you so much, Ellen. Really appreciate that. Good morning. No matter how early I tune in, you are live. Thank you, Ellen. I hope I'm live. Definitely live. The time is on the little subscribe thing in the top corner. So yeah, look, I'm definitely live, guys. Absolutely. Unless I'm in the future or some genius or something like that, which is not true. Jamie, dodge another bullet, have a beer. I get it. There you go, my friend Jamie. There you go, dodgeball. Yeah, we dodged a bullet there with Stiller. Nah, we're going to get the dodgeball. We're going to get nobody makes me bleed my own blood. Absolutely not. I know you. You know I know you. And you know that I know that I know you. Absolutely, guys. There you go. Ed's Music, what's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Ben Jacobs will be an upgrade. We got Ben Jacobs in goal, guys. Fabrizio Romano up front. Let's do it, guys. Absolutely. Big up, everyone. Of course. Marky Mark, the legend. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Marky, well, good morning, and the community. How you doing, brother? Hope you're well. How are you, my friend? Very well. Thank you, mate. I just want our team to be better and far for Amorim to know Liverpool are their perch. And that is exactly what Sir Alex Ferguson said, isn't it? I want to remove Liverpool from their perch. And it took us years to do that. And unfortunately, since Sir Alex Ferguson had retired, we've let it go again. We've let go of it. And we're letting Liverpool go back on their perch. We need to use Liverpool and teams like that as a motivation. We need to use their success as motivation. You can use defeat and adversity to your advantage sometimes, you know? And I think that's what Man United need to do. Look at Liverpool and saying, we can't allow this to happen. Now, over the last few years, it's been a very, very bad time for Man United. And one of the worst times for me as a Man United fan is Man City winning the treble. Not only winning the treble, they won 4 league titles in a row and they won the treble. And you know what? Regardless of what we say, it wasn't a great treble because they won it boring and they won it by buying it. But having said that, they won it. And our treble was a little bit, it would never be deleted, our treble. But it did put a little bit of power in the Man City corner, didn't it? In regards to, we won the treble, we won the Champions League, You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And it's been awful this last few years. And I want Man United to create more history. There's more history to be made. We could do another one, guys. We could do a quadruple if we really try it. You know what I mean? We just have to have our mindset. And that's what Alex Ferguson brought to Man United back in them days. He gave Man United that mindset. He gave them that belief that they can actually win the league. They can remove Liverpool from their perch. And he made them believe it, most importantly. Good morning, Miles. How you doing, you legend? How you doing? Well, good to see you. Good morning, Sal. Hope you're well. Lovely. You're great. Thank you so much, my friend. So are you. Work. I remember when we could make great signings back in the day. Now we just live in hope. That's sad for the big club we are. Thanks to the Glazers and the facilitators, of course. Absolutely. Big up, Miles. Good to see you. Renny Higuita. There you go, my friend. Renny Higuita. Was that the Mexican? Wasn't it Campos, the Mexican one? Renny Higuita was the Colombian. He was the Colombian guy, Renny Higuita. Yeah, he's the one with the back thing. The Mexican one was Campos. He was the Campos, Charles. The Mexican one was Campos, I believe, if I'm not wrong. Renny Higuita was the Colombian guy who done the backflip save against Jamie Redknapp at Wembley. Ellen, Napoli is a great club with great manager, and they have McTominay. Ellen, yes, my wife is from Napoli. I am very connected to Napoli. I go to the ground. I speak to the people. I know players at Napoli. I'm very connected to them. This is why I knew about the Højlund thing before India K or something like them clowns and stuff like that. So what I would say is that, yeah, look, you know what? I think that Rasmus Højlund could do worse than going to Napoli, in my opinion. Could do worse. And I think that, yeah, that would be a great move. It would be for him. But let's see what happens. Why not selling, buying the Onana and buying it and bringing the hair laments? Because no one wants them, Faisal, and it depends if the player wants to leave. And if the player digs his heels in and says, I'm going nowhere, absolutely can't do nothing about that. But good morning, Pearl. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Angela Stinnett, the new Tony Cruz. There you go, Amir. Absolutely. Faisal, because nobody wants them, absolutely, and they have a contract with Man United. It isn't a table and a knife we are selling. It is two human beings with something to say. Contract, obviously you can't, how do you say it? You can't just cancel a contract. You can't just rip up a contract. You know, it's a breach of contract, isn't it? They can dig their heels in if they want. They didn't offer the contract at the end of the day, you know, they only signed it. Marky Mark, any midfielder is better than what we have now. I agree with that, Marky Mark, absolutely. Clint, still is a good player, but not a profile we really need. We need a runner. Reminds me of when Ten Hag needed De Jong, a ball player, then we went for got Casemiro, two different midfielders. I would say Stiller's 24. I think he's a good player, mate. I know this. You're listening to certain quarters and that, but I actually watch German football. I know people in German football. He's a great player, mate. He reminds me more of a carrot type player. He's not a Baleba. He's a carrot type player. Unfortunately, there's people out there who've got infatuated with Baleba. Infatuated with Baleba now because we were linked to him, and no one knew who he was a year ago. But what I would say is that, Angelo Stiller is a good player. He's a good player, and you will see that. If he signs for Man United, you will see that. You can clip this. I'm really wrong. I really miss. I'll clip this, and you will know. Absolutely. Good morning, AC. How you doing, brother? I hope you're doing well. Ed's Music. Good, thanks. Good to see you, mate. Of course. Guys, I disagree, Jamie. He's a good player. You haven't watched him play. You don't even know what age is or nothing. You just say, oh, yeah, he's a bad player because Twitter said it. Clint can carry the ball. He can also pass through the lines. Absolutely. Put long balls on the second half. Absolutely. Fly on Sesko's forehead. He is good, but different to Baleba. Absolutely. Just because he's different to Baleba, Ellen, doesn't mean he's not good enough. People are infatuated with Baleba. You know, it's just, I don't know what this is, guys. It's ridiculous. That indie hype has gone down the drain, mate. He's gone down the, he paid Ornstein. He paid Ornstein for the shower, mate. Listen, guys, I know these things. The Garnacho drama is disappointing. Do you remember if the class of 92 lads had songs about them as quick as Garnacho? Do you remember if class of 92 lads had songs about it as quick as Garnacho? Man United didn't really make up fairy tale songs back in the day. Man United standards were a lot higher, done and dusted, back in the 90s, mate. We made songs for Cantona. We made songs for players like that. We made a song for Ryan Giggs. Ryan Giggs, running down the wing. We all know, don't we? At the end of the day, we made Ryan Giggs, and Ryan Giggs played since he was 16. I'm not sure when we made that song, but at the end of the day, our standards were pretty high back then. Nowadays, we make a song for bloody Eton. You know what I mean? This is what we do these days. You know what I mean? Angela is still what much about him? Yes, yes. He's a different type of player to Baleba, but he's definitely an option. He can play that role. Good morning, Sal. Do you think Bayindir is start for Sunday? I mean, what I would say, which would be pretty obvious to you lot, it would be 50-50 in my opinion. Absolutely. It'd be 50-50. Smash the like, guys. Thank you so much, my friend. EDZ Music. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Good to see you. No, I know a good steady. I want him. I'm saying the midfield has been neglected for years, but that's not what he said, mate. You said, yeah, I agree, Jamie. Jamie, refresh back, mate. Do you think Angelo Stinner can handle the physicality? I know he was Madrid's radar for 2 years. Yes. And that there goes to show you everything, doesn't it? That right there goes to show you everything. Angelo Stinner was wanted by Real Madrid. You know, who are we? You know? Emirat. Eze is the missing piece for Arsenal. However, Man United need a goalkeeper like Diego Costa and an effort midfielder of no European qualification next year. Man United need a goalkeeper. Yeah, I'll take anyone at this moment in time. At the moment, it is very precarious. It looks like Costa's going to Galatasaray. Surprising no one's in for Costa. He's only 20 million. I don't rate him as high as some people rate him. I think he's better than Onana, but I don't look at Costa and think, wow, what a keeper. You know, wow, what a guy. Sal still is a beast of a player. Absolutely. Players are not the same. I would take him with a heartbeat. I would as well. And most of the experts in football would as well. I know lots of German pundits. I know lots of German people, and they praise him highly. He's a German international. He's still quite young, 24. Guys, and that's it, you know, at the end of the day. That's it. Remember, guys, when everyone was gassed out due to one tackle and Mbappe in the World Cup, he turned into a bang average. No, he wasn't bang average, actually. Amrabat was not bang average a step. It was not bang average. Actually, Amrabat was very good for Man United in the time he had at Man United. Amrabat had to play in a time when Man United had about, how many injuries did we have? 10, 15 injuries at one time, and we were playing Casemiro in defence. Amrabat was probably still our best player. Scroll back to the Man City game in the FA Cup final. He was probably our man of the match. He's probably our man of the match. Now, this notion that we paint everyone with the same brush is lacks of intelligence in football-wise. You know, I mean, it's like I'm from a barn in Leeds. You know what I mean, mate? You know what I mean? Sort of, you know what I mean? I get football. I kick football in goal. That sort of mentality. Do you know what I mean? Nah. Amrabat was a good player for Man United. He was a good player for Man United. Maybe you don't like him because his name's Sofiane Amrabat. I don't know. But he was a very good player for Man United and won us an FA Cup. If we can't buy the right midfielder this season, Baleba, let's get a good source on the keeper. Absolute right keeper. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree that, Emirat. I really like Luciano Gume, but if Man United scouts would like Stiller, there must be a reason. Absolutely. And if Real Madrid scouts like him, there must be a reason. You know, not some country bumpkin coming on here and saying, oh, we don't need Qatar. We don't need Sofiane Amrabat. We don't need them because we like our own. Amrabat was done dirty at the club, absolutely. He had a few good games, mate. You're just not watching, mate, or that you're blind, or you don't refuse to listen because his name's Sofiane Amrabat. What's with the Turkish league? Players are running the bankava, the baklava can't be that good. I mean, back in the day, guys, especially Galatasaray and Fenerbahce. By the way, Galatasaray and Fenerbahce are teams in the Turkish league. You probably won't know. But what I would say is that Galatasaray and Fenerbahce and Besiktas and Trabzonspor and teams like that by the way, because we're more broad in regards to our football knowledge. What I would say is, guys, I grew up with them as well, mate. I was working at St. George's Hospital when Ray Wilkins was there on his deathbed, mate. So at the end of the day, I grew up with them at the end of the day. Guys, at the end of the day, who is as good as Brian Robson and Ray Wilkins at the moment? Who are you going to get? Baleba's not good as Brian Robson. Brian Robson is the greatest captain of all time. You know, Brian Robson is the greatest. You can't compare them with them players right there. You've got to give people a chance, mate. We risked it on Brian Robson. We had a record buy with Brian Robson. We risked it. Sometimes you got to risk things, mate. You know what I mean? And you got to think in the times, mate. You got to research a little bit, mate. This is you can't beat me on this one. What's with the Turkish league players running? Big up, read that one. All in all, we need a Stiller as we wait for Baleba next year. Absolutely. Sal, Amrabat is the best player in the final against Midfield. He was also one of our best players under Erik ten Hag in the final half of the season. People refuse to listen to that, and people are not looking at the context either. It's easy to forget the context of what happened under Erik ten Hag. It's easy to forget how many injuries we had. We had Casemiro in defence against Crystal Palace, things like that. Do you know, you remember that? And this is what people tend to forget. And people like it because they don't fit a certain narrative. Maybe if his name was Steve Smith, maybe they'll like him, but there we go. That's just the way it is, isn't it? Abraham was a old school, traditional calm. He put in a shift and helped the left back too. Can't complain. And again, EC, great comment. When Amrabat came into this club, he was put at left back. Was Brian Robson put at left back? Was Ray Wilkins put at left back? No, he was put at left back and he done a job, right? And that's what it is at the end of the day. But anyway, why are we going on with the Amrabat thing? Amrabat and Stiller are two different players. We're not going to paint them with a different brush, so with the same brush, because that's not what we do on here. They're two different players. Amrabat was playing out of position the first few games. Sal, is Andrew still injured? Yeah, there was rumours, but it's not as serious as his first feet. Steph, I respect your opinion, but I disagree. I respectfully disagree, mate. Also, I have a feeling that Jack Fletcher will be breakthrough player from the academy this season. Jack Fletcher, great player. Very excited about Jack Fletcher. Very excited about JJ Gabriel. Very excited about these players, guys. Really, hopefully they might get some games in the League Cup and the FA Cup. We got Grimsby Town, guys. Grimsby Town next week. Obviously, hopefully it's not a grim time for Man United. Hopefully we've beaten Fulham before that Grimsby Town game, of course, guys. So let's wait and see what happens. Yeah, I would like to see a few youngsters in that squad. I would like to see, obviously, Fletcher in that squad. Obviously, there is Ibrahimov as well, another player that I really like. JJ Gabriel's too young, but he's coming through. You know, he's going to be a star player when he starts coming through, guys. Obviously, that's one to look at, of course, guys. I want to see more of Kalungi. I want to see more of Fredrickson as well. Two players, Mentata as well. I want to see more of him as well. Look, you know what? I'm looking forward to it. Stop hating on players just to have someone to hate on. Amrabat came on loan and we really needed him. Thank you for the service. Amrabat saved our asses. Absolutely. I told you, it's because his name's not Steve Smith. You know what I mean? And he doesn't have a Union Jack tattooed on his arm. That's why it is, mate. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? And he prays 5 times a day. That's probably why. But you know what I would say is that Amrabat, no one's coming on saying that Amrabat is Brian Robson, because that's a ridiculous notion to say. Nobody is good as Brian Robson in my eyes, not even Roy Keane. Right. So what I would say is that, you know, when you're basically saying, oh, you know what, we got Peter Crouch, but he's not as good as Romario. You know what I mean? Peter Crouch is no Ronaldinho. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous at the end of the day when you think about it. You know, some of the things he would go with. But he's entitled to opinion. And that's what I say. This is democracy. I have my opinion. He has his. And that's my opinion. And that's his. I disagree. But that's it. At the end of the day. Jamie, when I worked in a care home, Nobly Styles was one of my residents. I looked after him, and Bobby Charlton came to visit him a lot. I met Bobby, and was a fantastic experience. Absolutely. You know, we've lost a few players this year over this last couple of years, guys. We've obviously lost Sir Bobby Charlton. Of course, we've lost Dennis Law. We've lost some great players, and we've had a lot of pain as Man United fans this last couple of years in particular. And it's been really bad. It's been really sad. We lost, obviously, Kate as well. Kath, in reception. We lost her as well. And that was sad as well. And, it's been a sad time for Man United, considering last season we lost Dennis Law, or the great Dennis Law, of course. And we also came 15th in the league and lost the Europa League final. You can't paint a worse picture. You can't paint a worse picture than that. It was awful, last season. And, what I would say is that we've had some great players. I mean, Ray Wilkins, I was working at St. George's Hospital when he passed away and stuff. And it's sad. It's sad. And, when greats pass, and this is what we are. This is who we are. And we have to respect our legends, of course. We do. And we always have to appreciate, because Man United, if you're a real Man United fan, you appreciate people came in and do a job for us. There are many more players at Man United right now, this very moment, earning quadruple the amount of those players earn, that deserve our criticism before the likes of Amrabat, before the likes of these players, who actually put in a shift for the football club. Even Rasmus Højlund actually puts a shift in the football club. Garnacho, as much as you might not like him, actually put a shift in the football club. The likes of Sancho, the likes of Anthony, these type of players, are problems. You know, Mason Mount, you know, when he wants to play, he'll play. When the World Cup is coming in the end of the year, he'll play. When, like, you know, Luke Shaw, when the World Cup is coming at the end of the year, he'll play, you know. My point is everyone's gassing him like Baleba. My point is nobody knows how good Baleba actually is because nobody knew who he was last year. And that is what I would say. Everyone's on this Baleba bandwagon when he might come to Man United and he might flop. A year ago, people were bigging up Ferguson of Brighton, saying that he's the new Wayne Rooney. Look what happened to him. What I'm saying is that you can't paint everyone with the same brush, right? Baleba might come to Man United. We might spend 100 million on Baleba, and he might actually be a monumental flop. You know, at the end of the day, that could happen, couldn't it? So what I would say is don't paint him with the same brush. None of you have watched him. None of you know about him. I've been mentioning him on the show for about a year. Guys, before it was popular to mention Angelo Stiller. Yeah, and some of the community mentioned him as well. So, look, let's wait and see. Step, nothing has happened yet, Step, so there's no point stressing about it. There's no point getting blood pressure about it. Nothing has happened, mate. And that is about it. Do you know what I mean? I say I like him, I rate him, but some people don't. Big up, live from Uganda. Thanks for the show. Big up, Emirates. Thank you so much for joining me, my friend. I've also met Quinton Fortune. I met Quinton Fortune once on an elevator. Believe it or not, you know how I did that? He was going one way, I was going the other way. I said, that's Quinton Fortune. I ran down the elevator on the other side. As soon as I went up, I caught up with him, shook his hand. I said, Quinton. He's like this. He got nervous, like, you know what I mean? Big up Quinton Fortune. Yeah, big up. Good morning, Sal. United have signed a new academy director. Hopefully, we can sign the best youngsters again. Hopefully, my friend. I don't know how many we need, but we have, of course. Sal, if we do not buy a midfielder, that will be what will be our solution? Goalkeeper. Probably a goalkeeper. That's what I would say. And that's what, you know what I mean? I would say. I realized one thing. We as fans actually ruin the youth and give them all this hype. The players get only stardom and power gets to their head. Look at Garnacho and Rashford. My biggest problem, EC, what I would say, you're absolutely right. But my biggest issue with football these days is I feel that young footballers are getting rich too soon. I feel like that the money is harming the game. I feel it is destroying the game. I feel like there needs to be some sort of stop to this because footballers are coming through the ranks at a very young age and been given a signing on fee, being a millionaire at 19 years old before they've even kicked a ball for a football club. And this is a big problem because when you get rich, you lose that edge. You lose that edge. As I spoke about many, many times in the past on this channel about the street footballer, how the street footballer is dying and things like that. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like putting too much money, giving too much money to players these days at a very young age is killing the game because they feel like they don't need football. And when you feel like you don't need football, that's when you lose that percentage on the pitch. You lose that percentage. Roy Keane, Brian Robson, you know, Bobby Charlton, all these players bled for this football club. Will put their head in. I remember watching a game with Man United, right? And Mark Hughes went for a diving header and he went straight into the post, bleeding all the way down his face and still carried on. Paul Ince, another one. Many players out there. Nowadays, look, when I had my season ticket, right, for a few years, I was on the Stretford end in the first row. I used to see Patrice Evra, right, vomit, throw up on the pitch. I used to see him throw up on the pitch back then, you know, because of the effort he put in. These days, these players walk on the pitch and look the same as they do when they come off the pitch, you know. Big up, AC. JJ will train to head. They think he's untouchable. Hopefully, no one touches him. Of course, he's still on a youth contract, of course, and other teams can get him. Still is a really good, proper tempo setter, especially as we want to play the front foot this season. Absolutely all-round midfielder. I really watch the Bundesliga, and he is one of those talented guys. Trey, big up, Mav. Trey Mavs, big up. Thank you so much. And I'm glad you do. Because there's a lot of people who look at him and he's not a fashionable guy, maybe don't like the way he looks and stuff like that, and he's not fashionable, so they write him off straight away before he's even kicked a football. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day. Big up, Trey. Good to see you. Just imagine Garnacho turned down Bayern for Chelsea. Imagine it. He has as well. Will he turn down Tottenham, though? Sal, why did not sign many German players? I don't know. There were many linked in the past. I remember Jurgen Klinsmann being linked to Man United back in the day. We had Schweinsteiger, of course, which was a decent player. We haven't had many German. We had a German goalkeeper, I think. We haven't had many German players over the years. I don't know why. I think we should. I think they had a little bit still defensively and stuff like that. I think they do. You know, it's weird that we haven't, isn't it, guys? German players who play for Man United in the comments. Come on, guys. I was on stream yesterday and someone in the chat said the streets won't forget Marcus Rojo. When people say the streets won't forget Marcus Rojo, it makes me feel like that this whole generation really standards have dropped. I say the streets won't forget David Beckham, Paul Scholes, Eric Cantona, Ryan Giggs, Roy Keane, Gary Pallister, Steve Bruce, Dennis Irwin, Paul Parker, Nemanja Vidic, Ronnie Johnson, Peter Schmeichel, Dwight York, Andy Cole, Teddy Sheringham, Mark Hughes. That is the streets won't forget for me. The streets, I would prefer the streets to forget Marcus Rojo. I would prefer the streets to forget Eric Bailly. I would prefer the streets to forget, you know, Daley Blind and players of that ilk, because it was a bad time for us. We got to move away from that mediocrity, guys, that mediocrity that our football club has been plagued with over this last 12 years or so. These average players that have come to this football club and done rubbish. You know? Yeah, the streets generally do forget because he hasn't done anything. The streets have definitely forgotten. JJ Gabriel is good, Max Dowman. Big up, absolutely. Marcus Rojo was a chaotic centre-back, mad defender. Ever shortly after he joined, learnt about the history of United. I bet Sancho knows. He probably doesn't even know who Ryan Giggs is or anyone like that. He probably doesn't even have a clue who Man United are, who he's playing for. He probably doesn't. He's probably like Robinho when Robinho signed for Man City and Robinho thought Man City was Man United. Do you remember that? Oh, God. Those are no. Glad we got rid of him. Marcus Rojo stands. Oh my goodness me. I've seen a lot of stands over the years, guys. I've seen Marcus Rojo stands. Jadon Sancho stands still exist, guys. And there are actually people on YouTube that I fell out with because I posted a picture of Jadon Sancho training. It went viral, and some half-hearted press-ups. That was me, by the way. Not doing a press-up, but posted it. And people were saying, "No, why are you being so cruel? You don't need to be like that. You're being so cruel on him. Stop being so cruel on him." And now, make your apologies as loud as your criticism. That's what I would say, guys. Jokers, absolutely. That's why I don't take football Twitter seriously. Madness, mate. Some of the people on there. Football Twitter stands, daft polls, yeah. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Saviour. How you doing, my friend? Are we doing well? Is it true giving big money to young players is killing the game? It's true, yeah. Football, that's the behaviour we have seen to Sancho, Garnacho, and because of big money. Absolutely. It takes away the edge from football. It takes away the development from the football players because they think they've made it too soon. This is what it is. You know? They think they made it. I'm a millionaire. I don't need to do nothing. I've made it. I'm playing for Man United. What do I need to improve? I'm the best. You had players like Eric Cantona and David Beckham staying behind in training to improve, even when they were world-class players. You know, and that is where we are. That is where we are now, isn't it? That is where we are with players these days, of course. Tybo, as I say, players like Rojo, Bailly, Blind weren't shit, just not good enough in general. Not good enough, mate. And it's proven, isn't it? Since they left, it's proven that they weren't good enough. You know, when they left the football club, none of them really shone. You know, like, wow, have you seen what Rojo's doing? Has anyone said that? The streets won't forget that. The streets definitely forget what Rojo's doing right now. I guarantee someone in the stream right now, without looking at Google, who does Rojo play for? Who does Daley Blind play for? You know, who does Bailly play for? I mean, those were the days, man. They also said the streets won't forget Bailly. I mean, I've forgotten him. I mean, I keep forgetting his name. I mean, if I am forgetting his name, guys, I remember players like basically Ben Thornley, you know what I mean, and Jonathan Greening and Phil Moran and Terry Cook, guys. I am forgetting Daley Blind and players like, if I'm forgetting Eric Bailey's name, there's a problem with you. You know what I mean? And goodness me, there's a problem with you. If I'm forgetting their name, there's obviously a reason why I'm forgetting their name. There's obviously a reason why that is, guys. Absolutely. You know what I mean? I remember John Spector. You know what I mean? I remember players like that, you know, who played for Man United. Kevin Pilkington, who played for Man United. Carrie Walsh, He played for Man United, you know, and we can go on and on and on and on. And you know what, guys? I guarantee you, no other YouTuber out there can just roll off names off the tongue like this, guys. Absolutely not, guys. This is the real deal here, guys. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Proper. I can go way back, guys. Even players who had one appearance for this football club. Players who had one appearance for this football club. Do you know what I mean? I can go way, way, way back. Tomlinson. What about Tomlinson? You want to know about Tomlinson? Guys. Listen, you know, what I would say is that, yeah, look, you know, there you go. That was after my time. Jemba's very remote. Robert Zila, that's one. There you go, Retro. Robert Zila, there you go. A good player. I forgot about, we had a few good players. Do you remember Eric Nevland, the Norwegian player, who we thought was going to be the new Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? Do you remember him? And he didn't hardly played. Yeah, just didn't click. It just didn't click, did it? At the end of the day, yeah, Giuseppe Rossi, Manuccio, was it Manuccio? My goodness me, yeah, all those players there, man. Manuccio actually scored a goal for Man United, you know, in the League Cup, I think it was. Claverson, yeah, I think, no, the problem with Claverson, let me tell you something about Claverson, Jamie. Every midfielder that came to Man United during the period of that period, Claverson was a Brazilian international, had to compete with Paul Scholes and Roy Keane. You know, very difficult. Juan Sebastian Veron was if Juan Sebastian Veron came to Man United right now, he would be Man United's best midfielder. That shows how good we were. Guys. He say United's DNA is hard work. Talent is great, but hard work is never shy from. We remember guys who played 100% for the badge. Absolutely spot on, EC. Absolutely. And it's something that we've been lacking over the years, isn't it, guys? Saviour. Man U should sign Lamens. He's a good goalkeeper and a young can save us 10 years. Yeah, very aware of him on this channel, my friend Saviour. Very aware of Lamens. First channel to mention him. Tyberg. Eagles wasn't anything special either, but still made the folklore with that goal. The Everton goal, 4-2. We were 2-0 down, all doom and gloom, and we just absolutely polarized them, guys. Was it 4-2 in the end? And Eagles was with that bending shot into the corner. I remember it. Wayne Rooney. Guys. Those were the days, guys. That is when that season I felt, you know, we're going to win the league that season. Yeah. I mean, because I was working that day. I didn't go to the game. I used to go to Goodison and see Man United. I remember it at half time because I was working in a corporate site. And I remember looking at the score and said 2-0 to Man United, 2-0 to Everton. I was like, oh, my goodness me. And then we come back and we win 4-2. Unbelievable. Makeda, I mean, the streets won't. That is what I'm talking about, Jamie. About the streets won't forget. The streets won't forget Federico Makeda. He went to Sampdoria. He went to various clubs and didn't make it. But that goal against Villa again is a bit like the Everton game. Again, was a goal that was an absolutely fantastic goal, guys. You know, absolutely fantastic goal, and. I remember it because I was at that game. But I remember it, an absolute game changer that was. And again, this is another one that changed everything, guys. You know, changed everything for us in regards to the league title. And this is what I'm talking about: moments in games, guys. I'm talking about moments, you know, and these moments defined us, who we are. These moments, the Champions League final and stuff like that, blah blah blah. These moments defined us, you know. Absolutely. They did define us, guys. Absolutely. Let's read this tweet. Big up, my friend. Step. Fraser Digby. Goalkeeper. Didn't quite make it at Man United. Very long time ago, mate. Fraser Digby was a player way before my time, but did end up playing for Crystal Palace and teams like that. He was a good player. Another one. Didn't quite make it at Man United, but not many people make it at Man United, guys. Absolutely not. You know, not many people make it. Fraser Digby actually went to Man United, and when he went to Man United, he actually went to Man United twice. He actually went on loan to Man United as well back in them days. So Fraser Digby, Yeah, guys, he's a coach now. Yeah, guys, you can tell I've worked in the lower leagues, isn't it? I worked in the lower leagues for a while. I've worked with, obviously, a number of clubs. Dorking, Leyton Orient. Yeah. EC, don't forget the legendary Dutchman, Wout Weghorst, did a job for us, absolutely. Won't say anything about Wout Weghorst, did a job for us. Makeda scored the title-winning goal other than that. Not quite a title-winning goal, but a title-changing goal, I would say. Wasn't quite a title-winning goal, but it did change the title, if you know what I mean. Sal, the last time we lost to Fulham was 2009. It was amazing. It wasn't amazing. It was terrible. We've only lost to Fulham 4 times in the Premier League era. We played Fulham 41 times, guys. We've won 30 times. We've lost 4 and the rest were draws. Craven Cottage, we've won 13 times at Craven Cottage in the Premier League era. Guys, knowledge off the bat, guys. Off the bat. Straight knowledge off the bat, guys. Off the bat. It's not just about transfers for me. You know what I mean? My all-time best United game is the 7-1 Roman fashion, the result. But I was at that game, Tyborg. I was at that game. I can prove it as well. I was at that game. The best game, apart from the Champions League final, was the best game I've ever attended. It was an absolute rocking atmosphere. Old Trafford was on fire. I actually think that Roma in that game were petrified. They were petrified of us that day. We just steamrolled them. Absolutely incredible, Tybo. Spot on. Tim Howard, the streets will never forget Makeda. Tim Howard's a clown. He bigs up the Glazers. Swindon on loan, I remember. Big up Retro. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. Now you remember Retro. Yes. There we are, guys. I love the knowledge, guys. I love the knowledge. I love my past about Man United. When I started supporting Man United, of course, I had a lot to make up to because I'm a Londoner. I'm an East Londoner. I was raised in Leytonstone in East London, like David Beckham. And basically, my friend is from Salford, and he introduced me to Manchester United, and he gave me these VHS tapes back in the day. And I took it upon myself to research Man United, to get to know Man United's history, because I felt that was very important. Because Man United were not champions then. It was about 1988, 89. The closest we came was obviously when we lost the league title to Leeds United in 1992. But what I would say is that I got to know Man United's history and all these loan deals and these players that came through and stuff like that, especially after we got relegated in 74. We went through a cycle of players that came in that weren't good enough. We let them go. Some came in, some went on loan, some came in on loan. And it was a difficult time, and we were trying to find ourselves again, after the 1968 Champions League final. We were trying to find ourselves again. And it wasn't until Alex Ferguson came, and years after Alex Ferguson came, that we actually found ourselves, you know what I mean? And we found our discipline and our culture. And this is what I like about Ruben Amorim right now. I like that what he's doing in regards to trying to fix the culture at this football club, trying to change the culture at this football club, which I think is imperative. I think it's so important because I think that is one of Man United's biggest problems at the moment is the culture. These players don't love the badge like we do. We love this football club. I spent my whole, 90% of my life supporting this football club. I've traveled thousands of miles supporting this football club. Even when I was broke, when I used to leave Old Trafford after the Champions League games, at night, right? 10 o'clock at night, I'm walking back to Manchester Piccadilly. I'm waiting for the 1 a.m. train from Manchester Piccadilly to Leeds, from Leeds to Nottingham, from Nottingham to Sheffield, from Sheffield to London, because there's no trains after the Champions League. The last train leaves at 9:30. And the next day I'm working, back in London. And this is what I'm talking about, and things have changed a lot. And I do believe that these players need to understand who we are, how privileged and how fortunate they are to play for this great football club, and that's what I would say. Lots of people have forgotten this. It's not just about shining new toys, as someone said in the comments earlier. It's about the effort, the desire, the will to win, the never giving in. That's what it's about. And this is something that we've been missing a lot of times, especially last season when we're losing 1-0 and we just packed it in and said, we're not going to win now. It's getting better. I hope it gets better. By winning on Sunday, I hope it gets better. Part of me feels that I hope that we go out there and absolutely smash them. Absolutely smash them. And then we can get that confidence back and say, well, you know what? It's going to work. You know what I mean? I hope it does. I hope Ineos succeed. I hope Man United succeed. Because if we all as a collective succeed, we all know that it's going to be a success for Man United, isn't it? Guys, you know what? The Jerry Springer last word. Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much, everyone who's joined me. Big up. Let me just read Fergie71. People saying Stiller isn't sick enough. Obviously, never watched a Carrick play. In my estimate, similar to Carrick. Exactly what I said earlier in the show. Absolutely. Guys, thank you so much, guys, for joining me. Absolute legends. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and smash a like on the video, guys. And also, don't forget, I'll be live later from Chatterbox later on. Guys, and guys, please don't forget to put your notifications on because I might go live if anything breaks, of course. Guys, thank you so much. You absolute legends. I will be back later on for Chatterbox, of course. Don't forget to join me for that. Chatterbox is important as well, guys. Please join me for Chatterbox, guys. Need to get more views on the Chatterbox. I'm working on a couple of things at the moment. I'm working on maybe another show being brought to you guys as well, and more content for the members as well. I'm working on it, guys. Really appreciate every one of you. Thank you so much. I'm Sal Warner, and this is Breaking Dawn. I'll see you later on for Chatterbox. Take it easy, guys. Peace.